Are you going sweatshirt with no shirt underneath?
Yeah, it was really comfy last night, so I figured I'd do it again.
Yeah, makes sense. I can't do that. It makes me feel like weird when I don't have that protective underlayer.
Like, I never wear shirts under my clothing. Like, I mean, it sounds weird, but like if I wear a button down, I'm not gonna wear like an undershirt underneath it, like a nice button down. I don't know, it's just something I do.
Huh. That's fair. I'm like 50-50 with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it depends on the weather for me.
I think that's honestly so true. The weather plays a big factor.
Hmm.
Generally, if I'm wearing pants, I'm going to go ahead and put underpants under those. But besides that, yeah, I'd have to agree.
That's fair.
Yep.
So as somebody who sweats like a ton, do you go with an undershirt for the extra protection, or are you afraid that that's going to make you hotter so you don't wear the undershirt?
It's really a catch-22. Like, there's just no scenario where you truly get a victory. But I think the undershirt is definitely the safer bet. Um, you buy yourself a little more time then, so you get to enjoy it while it lasts.
All right. Speaking of enjoying it while it lasts, I think it's time to get going on our little podcast. So let's hit the intro music and get going.
Cargo Shorts Boys Podcast.
Fun! It's the Cargo Shorts Boys Podcast.
All right. Welcome, friends, family, and random people on the internet to the Cargo Shorts Boys podcast. Today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2020. Happy National Devil's Food Cake Day. My name is Jackson Roll, and thank you for joining us. We have a great show for you guys in store today. Today, for your listening pleasure, we've got This Week in the News, a Cats review, a song that's soon to debut on the Billboard charts, a script read-off, and our first ever guest appearance. But before we get to all of that, let's introduce the rest of the guys. Joining me, as always, we've got the Curly Commander-in-Chief, Lord of the Land of a Thousand Lakes, the guy who still has Luke's shirt in the bed of his truck. It's the shotgun, Samuel Ness.
Thank you. I looked at it last night and it's still sitting in a pile of wet disgustingness in the back of my pickup.
Telling you,
Yeah.
dude, free washing machine.
I don't think you want to use the bed of Sam's truck as a washing machine, Luke.
All natural.
That's true, I guess. All right. Over there, we've got the man who is the jingle-producing genius, the Baron of Belly Flops and the Sultan of Song, Speed, and South Dakota. It is Sir Luke Arnold. For the audio listeners, Luke just dabbed pretty hard there, so
It was
that's
sick.
why you didn't hear anything. It was really cool. All right, up next, we have our incredible editor, the man with the missing wisdom teeth, the guy who runs in fear from bands with more than 1 million plays on Spotify. It's Joey Rasmussen, Esquire.
Hello. Please excuse
Yeah.
my puffy cheeks for this week.
Yeah, Joey just got his wisdom teeth out yesterday, which is why this episode is debuting a little bit later. But, the show must go on.
Yeah, as they say in High School Musical, the show must go on.
Yep. They were definitely the first people to coin that phrase, and nobody else has ever used it.
Yep.
All right. And then we have Jack Casper. Sadly, Jack couldn't be here with us this week. Jack decided to take a walk through his neighborhood with his puppy, Bo, when a woodland fairy floated up to him with an urgent message. Jack would have to visit each and every Carl's Jr. in the state of Wyoming to eat a small fry at each one. The woodland fairy informs Jack that he would be given glory amongst all the woodland sprites if he were to succeed, but if he were to fail, he would be turned into a small brass door handle and sold at Lowe's hardware store at a bargain price. Nothing motivated Jack quite like the threat of being a brass doorknob for eternity, so he immediately hit the road with Bo and the woodland fairy. He went to every Carl's Jr. in Wyoming and ate a small fry at each one. However, at the last Carl's Jr. in the state, something broke in Jack. He had become sick of those fries. He took bold action. Instead of eating a fry, he got a Molotov cocktail and burned the entire restaurant to the ground. Technically, he didn't have to eat the fry at that point because there was no restaurant, but because he burned it down, there's currently an ethics investigation taking place to see if Jack fulfilled his contract with the woodland fairy. So hopefully Jack and Amelia, the woodland fairy, will be able to come on the show next week.
Yes.
So in Jack's place, we have our first ever guest on the show. Joining us for today's show, we've got the gluten-free gamer god, the theater tech guru, the lackadaisical lifeguard, zealous player of Zelda, the man who is nasty with Ness, the sorcerer of Smash Bros, a recent alum of Lutheran High School, and just generally a really awesome guy. We have James Games Caustrita.
Facts.
How's it going?
You are the first guest to ever have on this show, so this is a big moment for us.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm glad to be on.
So how are you feeling about this, James? Have you been on other podcasts before, or are we your first here?
Yeah, man, I've never been on another podcast, so I'm really just kind of excited to see how this goes. And I'm hoping I can add something interesting.
I'm sure you will, James. This is a good launching point for your podcast guesting career.
For those who don't know, James Caustrita is literally the funniest kid I've ever met, hands down. So you're in for a treat, people.
He's pretty freaking awesome. Which of your little introductions that I gave you, which one of those resonated the most with you? Which one did you want to latch onto and say, yes, that sums up accurately who I am?
Man, I particularly enjoyed the Sorcerer of Smash. Like, I feel like I could introduce myself with that. Like, you walk into a party and you're like, yo, tell me about yourself. Like, I feel like that's a good place to start.
Yeah. My name is Dr. Destiny, and I am the Sorcerer of Smash Bros.
Indeed. Bro, did you see that Dr. Destiny ended up in our yearbook?
I did see that.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited about that.
Yeah,
My mom came in clutch with that one.
that is clutch.
How long has Dr. Destiny been around?
Man, so it was such a random like pick for me, honestly. So in like third grade, when we all played Pop Tropica in like the tech room at Southeast Christian, you had to like pick your username. And what I wanted to pick was just like straight up Dr. Destiny, which I ripped off from a Calvin and Hobbes comic, but that wasn't available. So I had to pick a number, and I was 9 years old at the time. So I was like, I'll just pick 9. Like that'll be cool. And that's kind of how it happened. And I've just never changed it.
That's pretty lit.
Wow.
That's honestly a great origin story.
Yeah. I did have to go Dr. Destiny 7 for a couple of games because Dr. Destiny 9 was taken on Wizard 101. So
Ah,
How unfortunate. Why did you go 7 then?
my friend made the account because it was cheaper if he had just paid for it. So
Gotcha.
so he just picked a number.
Cool. Alrighty, I think it is about time for our next segment, which is This Week in the News.
This week in the news.
All right, This Week in the News is our weekend update style segment about what's happening around the world, told in horrible jokes and puns by me. All right, here we go. A Maryland restaurant unveiled bumper car tables in order to practice social distancing. Upon hearing this, all of their custodians immediately quit their jobs.
Yeah, that would be a horrible job.
that'd be so
Have to
weird.
clean all that off.
That'd be pretty awful.
I like the idea of the bumper table, like the concept, but I feel like in execution that would be so horrible.
Yeah.
I'd love to attend at least once. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. All right, 2 alleged thieves in Virginia allegedly used watermelons as masks to conceal their faces. They said that they wanted to look sweet on camera and taste sweet too.
Wonder if they like gut the watermelons. I know it's definitely not the word, but
No, I think that's where I saw pictures of it. I didn't put one up for the YouTube, but it like legit it looks like when Dwight from The Office like put his head in a pumpkin. Like they literally did that, of like carved out like little eye holes and like a little breathing area and just wore watermelons into whatever bank they were trying to rob or whatever.
Props to them. That's awesome.
Yeah,
they
that's
should
just-
have got away with that.
I feel like I'd get like super like top heavy and off balance with the watermelon on the head. I feel like that's not the route you want to take with that.
Yeah, maybe they practiced for a while though, but maybe they didn't because they got caught.
Mm.
That's true.
Out of all the fruits, though, watermelon's probably like the best like bank robbing mask.
I feel like that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Luke, what are your reasons for that?
I think a big component of it is just the sheer size. Like I can't put an apple or orange on my head.
Right.
Maybe I could peel like the skin off the orange and kind of just put it over my face, but I think watermelon has a big advantage there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be way tougher, but also kind of a higher degree of execution if you did like a tiny fruit. Like if you just like stuck blueberries like all over your face so nobody could see you, I feel like just as effective, but also way harder. I
Yes.
think watermelon is for sure the way to go.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Peacocks invaded a small neighborhood in Florida, causing residents to become angry at the messes they left everywhere. In an interview, Animal Control just said, "They are peacocks. You gotta let them fly."
I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
That's right. That is a quote from the other guys. So if you haven't seen that movie, go ahead and watch that right now so you can get that reference I just made, and then come back and leave a comment in the YouTube and congratulate me on how clever I am.
You know, honestly, I feel like peacocks just like invading a neighborhood would be so sick.
It would be awesome. The problem apparently is that they have just been leaving excrements everywhere, like just all over the place. But other than that, I would love if I just like walked outside in the morning and was like, "Oh, look, there's a peacock."
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Mm.
Or like if you lived at the zoo, then you could see peacocks all the time.
I can't do zoos, dude. They smell too bad.
Dude, I love the zoo.
I also
Yeah,
enjoyed
me
it
too.
too. Bro, but I haven't seen peacocks there the last couple of times I've gone. Like, I'm not sure if they're there anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
a bummer.
The last time I went was like 2 years ago, but
Do they still let the peacocks just like roam around? Because the peacocks don't really have cages, right? They just kind of like chill.
Yeah. Maybe someone like ate them because they're roaming around.
yeah.
Like, oh, I forgot my picnic. Here we go.
I wonder if you could like, do people eat peacock in different parts of the world?
I feel like,
Right. Gotta be like a delicacy.
yeah.
I wonder what that would taste like.
Cooler.
Chicken of the prairie. All right. A new world's smallest man was crowned after the old one passed away. While the shortest person world record may be hard to beat, Joey could give the smallest hands guy a run for his money.
That is true. I have little hands, although I guess that looks big.
Yeah, like roll back in your chair until your hand looks really small. Oh yeah, perfect. Just like that. See, now it looks tiny. Way to go, Joey.
Thank you.
That big.
Yep.
That big.
Yo, props
Pretty small.
to the new shirt.
I'm over it.
Yeah. Okay. I wanna hear your guys' guesses at what do you think the world's shortest man, how tall do you think that guy is?
The world's shortest man?
Yeah, how tall do you think he is?
4'5".
Like 2'7".
I'm
I
gonna have
would
to
say about like
I'll go
3'6".
3'5" is me.
Okay.
I'll go 3'4", just to change it up.
I'll go 3 flat.
All right, so James was the closest, but he was it's still shorter than that. The shortest guy in the world is 2'4".
Holy crap.
Dang, dude.
That's crazy.
The guy who just died was 2'2", so he was even shorter.
Dang.
That is incredibly small for a person to be.
Something we can all strive for.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Then my hands would look massive.
They
Yeah.
sure would.
They'd almost look proportionate at that point.
Yeah.
Just about. And finally, a Kansas man who wants to fight his ex-wife with a katana was found to not be insane, just very angry about their child custody arrangement. When asked, he said, "Bridget, Let me see my kids. They're my kids too. It's crazy though. This guy is like okay, not insane apparently, but also just ridiculous. Of like, he is representing himself in court, and he is arguing for trial by combat so that he can fight his ex-wife with a katana sword so that he can see his kids more.
Doesn't sound
Oh.
insane to me.
Yeah, the wife better get her katana ready. Like, I have mad respect for that husband.
Well, they got a duel.
I feel like trial by combat might be a little too much right now, but like if they were to like say like, hey, trial by arm wrestling, like we can't get anybody super hurt, but if you just want to arm wrestle to see like who wins this lawsuit, then I would be super on board for that.
That should be how every lawsuit is handled. Arm wrestling.
For real.
Like, oh, you want to sue me for $3 million? Yeah, all right, let's wrestle about it.
It's true. I need to sneeze, so I'm going to mute myself really quick, and then I'm going to do that, and then we'll move on to our next segment.
Okay.
You know, I just said that, and now the sneeze went away, so I hate myself is basically the moral of the story here. Time for the next segment, the holiday song, which we don't have a jingle for because it's a song. But basically, as you may have noticed, starting a couple weeks ago, I started wishing everybody happy holidays during the intros of the show. So today, our jingle genius, Luke Arnold, has composed an original song for the National Devil's Food Cake Day. So without any further ado, here's the future hit song, Devil's Food Cake in My Mouth.
Yeah, this song goes out to all the devil's food cakes. Not the bundt cakes, not the birthday cakes, not the angel food cakes, just the good stuff. Devil's food cake in my mouth rids my mind of fears and doubts. Better than burgers or trout, but devil's food cake in my mouth. Yo, if someone had a cake of the devil kind and gave it to me, I'd be so grateful, then I'd eat it all in one piece. I'd eat all the crumbs too. Devil's food cake in my mouth rids my mind of fears and doubts. Better than burgers or trout, but devil's food cake in my mouth. Yo, does someone have a devil food cake? Seriously, I'm hungry. I really could use one. It's the holiday for it, so I would really like one. Just saying, just throwing that out there. Devil's food cake in my mouth rids my mind of fears and doubts. Better than burgers or trout, but devil's food cake in my mouth. Devil's food cake. Devil's food cake in my mouth rids my mind of fears and doubts. Better than burgers or trout, but devil's food cake in my mouth. Devil's food cake in my mouth rids my mind of fears and doubts. Better than burgers or trout, but devil's food cake in my mouth.
A masterpiece.
Wow, that was so good.
Oh, how did you? So you did every part of that, from the lyrics to the looping of the music. How did you do all of that?
I don't know. I was kind of just like, I got home pretty late last night. I was just like, I'm going to open up GarageBand, write a song about devil's food cake. And I kind of just, started messing around on the little keyboard, and this kind of just popped out. So, yeah.
Wow.
So did you write the keyboard part, or was that a pre-made sound that you found?
I think I wrote it. It might be a song from my memory, though. Don't really know, but I feel like I can take credit for it. I don't know.
I
That
think
sounds awesome.
Mhm.
yeah. I think this will be a Billboard #1 song within the next few weeks.
Absolutely.
I think at very least, in all the May 19ths in the future, this will be what people listen to, you know?
Yeah, when they're eating their devil's food cake to celebrate the day, you got to listen to some devil's food cake in my mouth.
Mhm.
Who decides on like what days are going to be like who was like, you know what, I'm going to call today National Devil's Food Cake Day? Like, why? Who made that up?
Well, I'm pretty sure every holiday is decided by all of the magical leprechauns because they hold all the knowledge of the world. So I think they just know when it's supposed to be and then like tell the government. That's just my guess.
Yeah, that would
I
make
think
sense.
that's right, actually.
Like
Yeah.
the council will decide your fate type beat. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Absolutely. All right, with that, I think it's time to move on to another bit of music that we absolutely love in our Cats Review segment.
Cats review. Cats review. Cats review. Cats review.
Meow.
Meow is right. So, our next segment up is the Cats Review. As you know, all of us here love the Broadway musical Cats and the movie of the same name that came out in December. Today, we're going to be talking about one of our favorite songs in the movie called Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat. So, James, I want you to start out here. Tell us about the first time that you saw this song in that movie theater. What was that experience like for you?
Okay, so I was sat there, right? Like we had just come off Asparagus's terrible monologue slash song. It's just absolutely terrible, boring, and I was just like, man, like I might have to leave the theater at this point. Like I don't know if I can keep sitting through this movie. And then the song starts to pick up a little bit. Skimbleshanks, you know, you start hearing the instrumentals come in, and you're like, yo, this song kind of goes hard. And so I'm sat there, and then the song keeps picking up, and you're like, yo, where is this cat? Because like the first minute, he doesn't introduce himself. And then he comes up, and you're like, oh man, this dude is the sauce, you know? Because the song just picks up so hard. And it in the musical, I think it's like by far like the most chorus heavy, like upbeat song. So it was a good contrast to the rest of the movie, which at that point was just meant like, oof, I don't know if I can sit through this anymore.
Oh, he sneezed. There it was.
Yeah, I finally got the sneeze out. So there we go. We're good now. Luke, tell me, you are the other musician here. Clearly, give me your impressions of Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat.
I don't. James, he kind of covered all the bases. The only point I disagree with is that at that point in the movie, I couldn't get enough. Like I was in love with Asparagus and his whole like just reveal of his name. Like it's genius. What kind of a name is Asparagus, right? And then like Skimbleshanks comes on with his little crew. They're dancing on the little railway, and I think it just enhanced the already great movie.
It's for sure something. The tap dancing there with making the railway sounds, I think, is really what sold the scene for me. I thought that was incredibly impressive. As somebody who is not a good dancer and will probably never learn tap dancing, like I just feel like that is incredibly difficult.
Dude, what if we all learned tap dancing? And then just like
Pretty sick.
got really good at it?
Well, then
That'd be awesome.
We just show up to like
Definitely.
every social gathering and just tap dance, and all the girls would want to be us.
Mhm.
I think the ideal is girls want to be with us, right? It's the men want to be him, women want to be with him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the girls want to be us, the men want to be with us.
Yep, that's exactly it, Joey. That's 100% correct.
Yes. Thank you.
Alrighty. I actually found something. I was doing a little research on the song, and in the Cavalier Daily, they found a great article that actually fits my interpretation of the song very well. The title is "My Undying Love for Daddy Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat," and I'm just going to read a little excerpt from this article. Where is it? Here we go. However, the song sung by Skimbleshanks the Railway Cat is absolutely the best song in the movie. If you think differently, you are wrong. Not only is it an incredibly catchy and features a tap dance number, which none of the other songs have, it is also sung by the best character himself in the movie, Skim himself. This cat is an absolute daddy, and I will not be taking any arguments about the subject. If you haven't seen the movie, go look up a picture of him right now. Finished? Okay. Now tell me his little Fashion Nova overalls and girl choker aren't the sexiest thing you've ever seen. His whistle and little hat, literally breathtaking. None of the other cats even have a job. This man is fully employed at the railway, keeping the rats and mice away. So not only is he incredibly handsome and is also a provider, but he would be crass not to call him the simplest sugar daddy. Oh no, he's much more than that. Yeah, I just thought that was amazing and just had to read that little excerpt.
I mean, honestly, like, I agree with a lot of it. Like, a lot of the other cats just, like, I don't know what they do. Like, they're just kind of there, just being angelical as can be. And, like, Skimbleshanks, he's doing his job on the railway, and, like, he has, like, a little purpose to his life rather than just wanting to go in a hot air balloon to the Jellicle sun and die. So, I don't know. Maybe he wants that too, but at least he has something to do while he's in the city.
Facts. Yeah, bro, and I wasn't gonna say it, but Skimbleshanks, like, not saying I've ever thought about this, but if I had to make out with a cat from the movie Cats, Skimbleshanks might be the one.
Okay, so at the end of this song, if I'm not mistaken, Skimbleshanks just kind of like flies up into the ceiling and disintegrates. So can somebody tell me like what happens there?
So, McCavity is up to all sorts of shenanigans, right? And he's trying to be the Jellicle choice, like, and he's not gonna do it the old-fashioned way of singing to impress old Deuteronomy and be chosen. He's just trying to literally be the last cat standing. So he uses his magic to make his foes disintegrate, and he transports them to a ship that he conveniently has, I guess. Kind of locks him up there. So unfortunately, Skimbleshanks is one of those victims, and we don't actually see much of him again. So,
Huh. Well, all right. The more you know.
Yes.
So, Cats, pretty fantastic movie. It's got a great storyline to it. You know what else has a great storyline to it is the Ballad of Shotgun Sam in today's script read-off.
Script read off.
line.
Just absolutely shredding on that guitar there. All right, so our final segment of the day is the script read-off. And so this kind of revolves on one of Samuel's nicknames around here, which is the Shotgun, Samuel Ness. So in today's script read-off, 3 of us on the podcast are going to do the best to retell the origin story of Shotgun Sam. And so those people are going to be me, Joey, and Luke. And so James and Sam, you guys can sit back and relax, and we're gonna all try to encapsulate the story of what is Shotgun Sam and how that name kind of came to be. So Sam, since you are the shotgun, I'm gonna let you decide the order.
On my screen, I have Joey, Jackson, Luke, so I think let's go like that.
All right, Joey, lead us off. Do you want to put any dramatic music in the background of yours or no?
I think I'll edit it in post if I
Right.
want to. I'm going to try and find a shotgun sound effect.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. April 29th, 2019 is a day that has gone down in infamy and has given birth to the legend of Shotgun Sam. I'm sure you have heard of this, as many 4th grade classes now have adopted this tale as a part of their Colorado history unit. Let me walk you back throughout this day. Our very own Samuel Ness arrived at school in his 1976 Volkswagen bus, parked his car in the very front of the lot, and walked in with excitement and anticipation for what the day would hold. You see, today was the first day of the choir tour, and Samuel had his first big solo, Truth Hurts by Lizzo. He had been practicing this song for months to perfect it for this day. He knew all of the words, had developed a hate for men along the way to make the song more impactful. He walked into the school to greet the choir and gave each of them an intricate 3-minute long personalized handshake, except he gave the choir director a 2-minute long personalized handshake because they were running low on time. They needed to get in the bus to hit their first stop, Pueblo, Colorado. Jack Casper pulled the bus to the drop-off lane to transport Lehigh's all-star choir. Samuel was beginning to get nervous. He looked around the bus to see everyone making out with each other to calm their nerves, but Samuel sat alone to prepare his mind to sing Lizzo's Ballad. Eventually, they arrived at Pueblo Community Lutheran Church of Jesus Christ our Lord, the biggest stage Pueblo has ever seen. Samuel walked onto the stage to relieve some of his jitters and walk through the performance in his mind. But being the absolute stone-cold fox that he is, 12 women from another choir approached him and asked to touch his luscious curls. Samuel politely declined. They persisted. They would not rest until they touched his hair. Samuel started to get more assertive. No, he proclaimed. Embarrassed by their action, the 12 girls sobbed and ran into a dark corner. Samuel straightened up his bow tie and began to practice again. Once he felt that he was ready for the show, he traveled backstage to drink some goat urine. Samuel does this before every show, but there was something different about this goat pee. It made him feel weird. And as the room was spinning around him, he noticed the 12 girls from earlier walk into his room with their hands out, ready to run them through his hair. Terrified and out of ideas, Samuel started singing Truth Hurts by Lizzo as loud as possible. The girls were mesmerized in place by his singing voice. Samuel stopped singing and told every single one of them that they didn't have a chance with him. While he was doing this, Rob Riggle appeared out of the air ducts with a shotgun and threw it to Samuel. Without thinking, Samuel used the butt end to smack all the girls in the head, causing all of them to fall to the ground. "You did it, Samuel! You saved us all!" exclaimed Rob Riggle. "What do you mean, beloved B-list actor Rob Riggle?" Samuel inquired. "All of those girls were wanted for assault. They were a menace to society. You did it!" Samuel started singing Truth Hurts by Lizzo to celebrate, and Rob Riggle couldn't contain himself. He passionately kissed Samuel, and Samuel kissed him back, but in like a "good job, bro" kind of way. The police came in and arrested the girls. Samuel sang his solo and was awarded 3 Grammys on the spot. Rob Riggle watched and sobbed uncontrollably. Then Samuel was applauded by the city of Pueblo for his heroic feats, and he and Rob Riggle lived happily ever after.
It's good stuff. I think the only thing I would disagree with there is that Rob Riggle is not a B-list actor. I think Rob Riggle is an A-plus list star that could easily carry his own movie franchise if given the chance.
Yeah, I see your point. All right, is it Jackson?
Yes, I am up next. Also, another quick comment is I think my favorite part of the story was when Samuel kisses Rob Riggle, but in a "good job, bro" kind of way. that was fantastic.
It's like 2 bros just kissing, like just celebrating.
All right, yeah. So it's time for me to tell the story now. So I kind of remember the origin of Shotgun Samuel in a different way. All right, the Ballad of Shotgun Sam. Samuel Ness took a sip of warm beer from his camelback backpack. He moved his sunglasses down from his light, bouncy curls down to his nose and relaxed in his chair at the public swimming pool. The year was 1979. Samuel felt good. He closed his eyes and imagined that he was an atoll of jellyfish drifting along in the Strait of Gibraltar. Life was good. Suddenly, a shadow covered Samuel as he was relaxing. Instinctively, he reached for the Swiss Army knife that he kept in his back pocket, and with lightning speed, he pulled out the nail clippers tool, the most deadly tool on the entire knife. As he opened his eyes, he was shocked to realize that the mysterious shadow belonged to a girl. In fact, it was the most beautiful girl that Sam had ever seen. Her long black hair tumbled down her shoulders. Her eyes were bright and blue. She smiled and revealed all 5 of her teeth. Sam was immediately struck by the fact that she had one ear pierced. The other ear was missing altogether. Despite the warm temperatures of the June day, the mysterious woman was wearing flesh-colored snow pants that were the wrong skin tone for her, and had a Lithuanian flag wrapped around her like a towel.
Hey there, hot stuff.
She said with a wink. Sam was in. He let his guard down. She turned away, beckoning to him with the middle 2 of her 7 fingers. Infatuated with the woman, Samuel followed her to the pool's office, directly behind the desk where he had punched his card before entering. One more trip to the pool, and he would earn a free tortilla chip. As he entered the room behind the girl, she shut the door. As she did this, the power went out. Immediately, Sam's suspicions arose again. Maybe this girl was a vampire. 4 of her 5 teeth looked like they could be fangs. The fact that she walked with a limp surely did not mean anything good for Samuel. He began reaching for his nail clippers again, then realized in horror that he had left his beloved clippers in his pool chair. Fear crept into Samuel's mind. How would he defend himself now? As he felt around the dark office, he heard the vampire girl limp closer. Clunk! Yee! Clunk! Yee! Clunk! Yee! Closer and closer and closer. Sam reached behind him, desperate for something, anything, to protect himself with, and that's where he found it. Right there, between the net that the lifeguards used to fish feces out of the pool and the dining utensils that the lifeguards used to eat the feces they retrieved. It was a 12-gauge shotgun made entirely out of shoelaces collected from the lost and found in the men's locker room. It was no nail clippers, but times were desperate.
Can I have your Snapchat?
The vampire groaned slowly. Sam didn't have time to think about the fact that Snapchat would not be invented for at least 30 years. Instead, rather than firing the shoelace shotgun, Sam sent it crashing down into the head of the vampire. Hearing the vampire shriek with pain, he ran away, bursting through the door and into the sunlight. He did not stop to collect his personal items at the pool. He would need to make a new punch card in order to collect his free tortilla chip. But he escaped with his life, and the shotgun made of shoelaces that had allowed him to do it. He never saw the vampire woman again, except in court when she sued for damages. She turned out to just be a normal girl. But other than that, he never saw her again. But he always keeps that shotgun close, just as a reminder to beware the beautiful woman of the world.
Well, that was beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I just figured, the shotgun, its prime use is to defend oneself, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta make sure that that you're keeping that close at all times,
Mm-hmm. I just wonder, Samuel, you like girls that only have less than 10 teeth, right?
Oh yeah, I've been known to fancy them.
Right, okay. It's just such an odd market, but
it's specific, but I definitely get where he's coming from.
Oh, I totally get it. I don't think I'd have the confidence though.
Yeah.
Like walk up to a girl with 4 teeth and be like, "What's up?" Like I just get so nervous, dude.
I totally get that. All right, Luke, take us home. Show us your interpretation of how Shotgun Sam came to be.
All right, maybe my memory's fading or something, but I remember the story a little bit differently than you two, so I'll tell it as I remember. Samuel Ness was alone. Samuel Ness was afraid. Samuel Ness was evading capture from the Tokyo police force in nothing but a bath towel and a satchel filled with various supplies from Hobby Lobby and firearms. Airplane food, am I right? Our story really begins in 2005, where Samuel Ness vowed to his dying cyborg companion that he would bring Crayola utensils to every nation on the face of the earth. Would he succeed? That, my friend, is a story for another time. 6 months passed, and in December of 2012, Samuel had single-handedly taken control of the fantasy football industry. He had the power to add or trade any player in pro football to his team, hooked on a Thielen, with the push of a button. Fortunately for the rest of us humans, Samuel would use his power for good. With his extensive resources, Samuel dedicated his life to replacing the world's water supply with fruit by the foot products. Gushers, those fruit stickers that were advertised on TV for a short period of time, etc. By 2009, Samuel had accomplished his goal. Content with his life's work, Samuel found it appropriate to celebrate on that cold September night with a nice, long, warm shower. He hopped in the tub, turned on the shower head, and let his body soak in the sweet, fruity goodness. In the midst of peace, however, disaster found an opportune window to strike. Samuel heard a knock at his door. Paranoia filled his heart. Was it the IRS coming to collect his vast collection of Sesame Street memorabilia? Was it one of the many women whose heart had been broken by Samuel's signature combination of good looks and lack of social media presence? Was it Chance the Rapper? Samuel couldn't take any chances. Threw on a towel, grabbed the art supplies he'd been entrusted to protect by the Denmark Parliament, went for 2 shotguns he kept in his fridge, and immediately jumped out of his 21-story tall window. With practically no time or resources, Samuel had to think fast. To avoid falling to his death, Samuel strapped the 2 shotguns to his satchel to create a jetpack joyride-esque contraption and took to the skies. The local police force, already on edge from a worldwide radish shortage, were alarmed by the mysterious man's presence. They turned on their sirens and attempted to locate and capture Samuel for roughly 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Many things were broken on that June afternoon. Roughly $2 billion worth of property, enough technology to set the human race back to the Stone Age, and the hearts of every single woman who was blessed to witness that event with their own 2 eyes. Many questions still remain in regards to that fateful January morning. Who knocked on Samuel's door? Did Samuel save his father's failing falafel business? Did Sparky the dog ever learn to snowboard through the Great Lakes? In the midst of all these lingering questions, one truth was revealed to us that day. Samuel would go down in history as Samuel Shotgun Ness.
Wow.
Good stuff there.
Oh, man.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I think all of our memories have faded a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of unsure as to what the real truth is, to be honest with you, but
I feel like Luke's honestly might be the closest to the truth, but I don't know. I feel like we all have hints of the truth.
I think we all have hints of it. I don't know. I feel like the dates in Luke's might be off, seeing as it changed about 12 times during the course of the story.
Samuel, do you know if Sparky ever learned to snowboard through the Great Lakes?
He actually did a song this last winter. Yeah, he's doing well. Shredding the mountains. It's good. Good fun to watch.
It's good stuff.
I bet.
So, Sam, which of our stories do you think? And James, you can weigh in on this as well. Which of our stories did you like the most, or think was the most accurate?
I don't know. They all had bits and pieces of the truth, as most stories do when you're being investigated during a crime scene. Yeah, I think they were all right. I did sing the song by Lizzo. I do have an attractiveness towards, or I like to be, or I'm attracted by, I guess, by women who don't have a lot of teeth. That's not true at all. And Luke, I do, that happened. Most of that, what happened in that Luke story. I feel like Luke's is closest to the truth, but at the same time, they all have bits and pieces of the truth. But the world may never know the truth. But the truth will set you free.
It will.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a former lover of Samuel's, I think I can weigh in a little bit on this. Yeah, definitely. I think they all have like little bits of the truth, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, man, I don't know. like when you just consider Sam's pure attractiveness, just that by itself, I mean, you've got to consider every story, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've got a lot to work with here, and I think we're pretty far from a true origin story at this point. But all three of you have brought really good parts of the story to the table. You know, I think we'll
Yeah.
get there someday.
Absolutely.
Mm.
All right. Well, I think that's it for today's show. Do we want to do a quick, just kind of on the fly here? We could do like a quick little mini interview with James if we wanted. Just everybody ask him one little question about some aspect of his life. We could do that and then wrap up. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah, real quick before we do that, I would like to open it up to the listeners. If you would like to vote on which story you think is the best, you can do that and email us at thecargoshortsboys@gmail.com, or you can text us or DM us on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely right, Sam. And we will leave all of those items in the description of the show. So thank you for bringing that up. Alrighty. So questions for James. We started out strong with the Dr. Destiny question at the beginning of the show.
I'll go ahead and start. James, I notice a poster featuring the 2016 hit movie Suicide Squad, award-winning movie.
Indeed.
I would just like some elaboration on maybe like what your favorite character is and why.
Man, okay, so my default answer to that question is Jared Leto's Joker, which says a lot considering that was not the greatest performance of the Joker ever. Obviously, the film was incredible. There was nothing wrong with it. The plot made sense. The villain made sense. Everything about it was great. Yeah. But at the time, I was actually a pretty big fan of Jared Leto's Joker, which looking back, I don't understand at all. Mostly, I was just super excited for the movie before it came out. And then afterwards, it was like, well, now I have this poster, and I guess I'll keep it.
Fair enough.
James, what is your color and why?
Sorry, my computer lagged out a little bit. Could you say that again?
Yeah. What's your favorite color and why?
Ooh, okay. My longtime favorite color is green, which I don't really know why. It's just kind of like when you're a kid, you just have that favorite color. That was green for me for sure. And then over time, that's just been like associated with a lot of things I like grass type Pokemon and stuff like that. The mountains have a lot of green in them. There's just a lot of good things that are green. And then in middle school, I decided that my favorite color was black for a little bit because that was edgy. And, at the time I wore black pretty much every day, except for my Southeast Christian sweatshirt, which I wore every single day of the week at school. But yeah, green is my real favorite color. And I think black is kind of like a moment in history for me.
Very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go Joey.
Okay. Yeah, so I have a question that I forgot. So Jackson, you can go.
Okay, perfect. So mine is kind of a pivot of going from Sam's question. So there is, of course, the infamous Southeast hoodie that you would wear literally every single day. How did you make the pivot from that into I'm gonna be one of the most fashionable guys at the school? Where did that happen?
Yeah, man. So there was a day in 8th grade where I just decided like, wow, I really don't like myself and I need to change something. So I was like, well, okay, let's like completely restart. So I cut my hair. I got my ears pierced, and I went out with my parents and I bought. It had to have been like a ridiculously expensive amount of clothes. Like looking back, I'm pretty grateful that they were willing to like help me completely redo my wardrobe. But yeah, so I basically got like fully stacked with like new like clothes, new hair, new I got my ears pierced, whatever. So I think just like that kind of was a catalyst for me helping change not like who I am, but how I acted in general. Like it made me feel more confident and that type of thing. So yeah, I mean that's more of like a serious story, I guess. But and the other thing was like it got to a point where I was like, I can't just keep wearing the same sweatshirt and bright neon every day for the rest of my life.
It's good stuff.
I think all of us in middle school have the we can't wear bright neon every day realization.
Yeah.
Joey, we ought to put a picture of middle school James up on Instagram to advertise our first guest.
Man.
I don't have one, but if James would be willing to send the picture.
We'll put it on the story, James. It doesn't have to be a permanent thing.
Yeah, I have a plethora of images that I can send through.
Perfect.
Lovely.
Okay,
All right, Joey, your question.
Yes. It relates to yours, Jackson, but just when did you decide to like grow out your hair again, and how long do you plan to keep your hair long?
Yeah. So I think cutting my hair was like necessary for me at the time to kind of just like feel like different like any way possible, whether it was, you know, whatever, which I had kind of just touched on. But I think long hair is like what I actually enjoy and is more true to like myself, if that makes any sense. Like I feel like I identify better with like this type of hairstyle than I did with my short hair. And so sophomore year, I kind of just stopped cutting it. I don't really remember like a moment where I was like, yeah, I'll grow it long again. But I kind of just stopped letting, like I had stopped cutting it. And in middle school, I didn't take very good care of my hair because I was in middle school. I didn't really care at the time. But during my sophomore year, I noticed that it curled a little bit. And my girlfriend Kat really liked it. So I was like, oh, okay, well, you really like this. So maybe I'll keep growing it and see how it goes. And she'll say that she likes my hair both ways, but she likes it longer. So that was part of what motivated me to keep growing it. And at this point, I'll probably just keep letting it grow. Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to stop, honestly, but we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going for the Jesus look right now.
It's working.
There you go.
Well, thank you.
I have a hard
WWJD, baby.
I have a hard time remembering what you look like with short hair, just like in my brain.
Yeah.
Like,
well, honestly, it's like, yeah, it's like crazy to even like think back to like when I had it short at this point, you know, because now it's been so long again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Quick circle back question. So what is your favorite Pokemon? You kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier.
Okay, so I actually have a little thing. So my longtime favorite Pokemon is Bulbasaur. And I'm guessing part of that is because I watched the anime and he was in it, but I've always liked grass type Pokemon. And yeah, I don't really know. I think he's just like the pinnacle of like Pokemon design because he's like a dinosaur and a plant combined into one thing. And like, that's just so cool to me. So I think that kind of just encompasses like what Pokemon are, just like these genius little cute monsters that you can just catch and they're freaking cool as all get out. So I think he like just represents Pokemon for me, but also he's just like a cool design.
Sweet. All right, do we have any more interview questions for James Games?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we got everything.
Alrighty, sweet. Then, in that case, that is it for today's show. Thank you so much to James Caustrita for guesting on today's pod, and hopefully we'll continue to have fun guests like him in the future. Just a couple of final reminders before we go. Remember to subscribe on whatever medium you listen to, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcast app. You can check out our YouTube channel to see any visual content you may have missed from today's episode. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. Our Instagram account is live, so please follow us at Cargo Shorts Boys. Hopefully we'll get a story pic of middle school James, which is good stuff. If you want to reach out to us to vote this week on which of us has the true origin story of Shotgun Sam, you can reach out to us by either texting us, DMing us on Instagram, again, at Cargo Shorts Boys, or emailing us at thecargoshortsboys@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Until next time, we are the Cargo Shorts Boys. Stay classy, Internet.
Cargo Shorts Boys Podcast.
Fun! It's the Cargo Shorts Boys Podcast.